Broadcasting live from Youngville, North Carolina and Ontario, Canada. This is Got Mead Live, a weekly show where Vicky Rowe and AJ Aramutz bring you the mead news, meadery info, and mead-making discussions from all over, talking with mead makers, mead owners, industry mavens, and influencers. This is Got Mead Live, a weekly podcast about mead and the people who love it and where the mead world is going. And now here are your hosts, Got Mead owner Vicky Rowe and mead and wine maker AJ Aramutz.
Live. Well, actually not live. Today we're recorded from the Den of the Puppies of the Apocalypse and the Bunny Pen in Ottawa, Canada. It's Got Mead Live. Welcome to the show. We are not doing our normal show today because unfortunately one of our guests, Carvin Wilson, had to cancel. Family matter came up that had to be dealt with. So he will be back and we'll have him on a later date. But we are very fortunate tonight to have for our guest Mateusz Blaszczyk, and I apologize. I really have to I have to study my Polish before I come out there next year. He's heading up the European Mead Makers Association conference next month, and we're going to be talking about that and the European Mead Makers Association, and they've got a couple of competitions coming up, so we've got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. So we hope you enjoy this, and of course, if you want to listen to us, you can listen to us on the Got Mead website, or if you're prefer to listen to it later on your drive or while you're cleaning the house, then you can catch us on Spreaker, iTunes, SoundCloud, TuneIn, and Stitcher. Just search Got Mead Live. We got replays back to the beginning of the show on the website at gotmead.com, as well as Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher. So again, just search Got Mead Live, which should pop right up. You can find us online at facebook.com/gotmead. And of course, gotmead.com, and then also facebook.com/groups/gotmead. Twitter, we are at gotmeadnow. And Mate, I just realized that you and AJ were still muted. I apologize. You can find us on Twitter at gotmead. Now, my rhythm is off. We do this at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. You know, the middle of the afternoon is like...
Yeah, we're not really awake at 2 in the afternoon yet.
Afternoon, yeah. Tuesdays are always... I have a ritual on Tuesdays, you know. So, Twitter, we are at Got Me Now. If you can't call us, feel free to tweet us. And, of course, if you want to send us questions or suggestions for people you'd like to see on the show, just go to gotmead.com, put your mouse over Got Mead Live Radio Show. And
we are on a roll today.
We are, yeah. And the drop down will give you the option to send us an email that will let you ask questions or tell us who you want to have on the show. So, and of course, though you can't do it right now, our phone number to call in is 803-443-MEAD. I am not drinking anything because it is the middle of the day. Okay, I'm drinking tea. So.
Well, you know what? I've got Ryan's Boucher right in front of me, so I'm going to have some of that, just to make it official.
Cool.
It's 7 o'clock in the UK, so I got some mead with green tea.
Ooh, nice.
Which is all right, actually. It's very light and a little bit tannin up there as well. But yeah, like I said, 7 o'clock in UK, so I'm definitely all right with that.
Yeah.
Thank you for getting me on that time. It's much better than I have to wake up about 4 a.m. and go live.
Yeah, that's just not much fun.
It really is.
I probably will do it, but I could sleep off the middle of my speech.
And you would be the one who couldn't talk right because it would be the wrong time for you.
Yes.
So, Mate, tell us about you. I don't know how many people out there know you already. Some of us do, obviously. But tell us about you, how you got into mead, and how you ended up running the EMMA Mead Con.
Right. I'm a home mead maker for about 10 years. Before of that, I was doing some wine. But since I was introduced to mead, I decided that's the way what I want to do, and that's the thing what I want to do. And basically, since that day, all my demijohns and fermenters turned to the meat. So, well, what else? Year ago, I started YouTube channel about meat. We do it mostly in Polish, but we got few with English subtitles.
Oh, cool.
And it is all about meat. So that's great. We plan in the future do it something in English too. I said we because it's actually me and two my very good friends who's doing that channel. I'm the man on the front of camera, but they help me behind the scenes, to be honest. And channel grow quite fast, which is I'm surprised. I didn't expect it's gonna go so fast. But it's good fun. It's good fun, to be honest. I can speak with professional mead makers, show people how they do it meads, visit meaderies, and that clips on YouTube. There are with English subtitles. So if you would like watch the channel called Kings of Mead, and I think every visit in meadery is with English subtitles. So
cool.
Cool.
That's good.
Yeah, you'll have to send me a
yep.
link to the channel so I can put it on the show page and link it on the YouTube page for Got Mead.
I definitely will. And from that idea, we came with some idea like European mead makers are not quite well organized. It's not like you guys have in United States when your organization is quite big and working quite well. We probably about 10 years, maybe even 20 years behind you, to be honest. But we come with that idea, we might be doing some meeting for mead makers. But slowly meeting grow to the conference, which is I'm a little bit scary, but also very exciting about that. It's getting very popular, more than I expect. Well, Poland is a good country to do it that, because lots of Polish mead makers will attend it.
Yeah.
So that's give us maybe not huge, but quite big crowd as well.
I gotta send it around to the Polish mead makers, the Polish professional mead makers that I know that have been coming to the Mazer Cup for years, and let them know. They may already be aware, but if they are not, I will send it to them so that they have it.
Yeah, you can probably you can just remind them. Most of them coming.
Yeah, I understand the fear. When I put on the first AMMA Mead Conference, it was kind of more of a meeting, and we had a day's worth of seminars, and it was really small, but and terrifying because so many details needed to be dealt with, but it was also wonderful because so many people of the same mind meeting together and talking mead. It was great.
Yeah, that's what I expect. First time we're gonna meet in Europe, and it's like I said, mostly it's Polish, but we're gonna get guest mead makers from Sweden, Switzerland, England, France, Spanish, so pretty much whole Europe coming. So that will be great. Even just for me, meet together. We got a few subject what we want to discuss, but I feel exciting about that, and I hope so. It's also the just first step to get better in Europe and get example from you guys in the United States.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let me know if I can help. I mean, I'd love to be there, but as you commented to me, I just got back from Australia. I have no money left. So
Vicky, I'm gonna do it everything to do it next year too, so you can attend it for the second one.
I would love to. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm already starting to save money for a trip there. I've been wanting to come to Poland for years, so I'm really hoping that I can make this happen because I think it would be a lot of fun. And like I say,
Got lots of
I will
friends
work on
here.
my Polish.
You already say my surname, so you do it well, yeah.
You would think I'd be better at it. I actually grew up in a town that was almost entirely Polish. You know, not Polish speak. Well, some of them spoke Polish, but all were of Polish descent. And even my wedding was Polish style, the way they did it there. So it was, yeah. But
Wow.
yeah, so yeah, you couldn't open the phone book without seeing a Polish surname. It was, you know, there was a lot of that. So I'm looking forward to coming over and, you know, seeing Poland itself. So it'll be nice. But so tell us about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go on. Yeah, I heard you got lots of friends in Poland as well, so
A few,
I reckon it's good.
I've been fortunate to meet a lot of Polish people at the Mazer and just through my travels and whatnot. That yeah, I've got a few friends, so I'm looking forward to coming over.
It will be great.
Hoping I could see some of them, you know, so that'll be good. I'm gonna need their help. I have no idea where to go in Poland, so.
When we go to that stage, I definitely will recommend some places for you to visit, and maybe around something.
Thank you.
Because I have to say I'm not living in Poland anymore. By the way, I'm living in England.
Oh, okay.
So, but I moved. So that's a few years when I moved to UK, and I live on a Newcastle upon Tyne, which is like northeast of England.
Okay, so that's how you got to hang out with Rob Ratliff. Didn't you guys get together at some point?
Don't know.
Oh, I thought you did. I must be thinking of somebody else. Yeah, Robert Ratliff. He's written 2 books on mead recipes so far, and he's currently in England working for the American government, and actually coming back to the U.S. in 2 weeks, I believe. Yay! So he's been gone a long time. But yeah, okay. Well, I was thinking, I don't know why, but I thought you two had gotten together. Oh well, never mind. So tell us about what's it going to look like at the EMMA get together, the conference. What are you guys planning on doing?
Right. The conference, it's happened 8th and 9th of November. Poznan, Poland. We start 8th of November, which is Thursday. We do it something like I would like call social meeting and tasting panel, which is quite easygoing meeting in a restaurant, which is we managed to speak with owner of restaurant, and we can bring our own meats. So that will be great for start. But we start 7 p.m. and next morning 9 a.m. we should start conference. So hope so everyone will manage. And conference start at 9. And first, sorry, how you call that person who actually talking on a conference?
The presenter.
Presenter. Oh, thank you. So first presenter is gonna be Andreas Janionis from Lithuania, and he's gonna talk about history of mead making in Poland and Lithuania. So that's more for actually our European guests to say what's actually happened in our history and with mead. Andrews, he studied mead history and mead old historical recipes for about 7 years, so I'm pretty sure he got good knowledge, and I'm looking forward to meet him as well and talk more about his recipes than about his story, because to be honest, Poland and Lithuania history, it's very similar. For many years we've been the same country, so I believe mead history it's quite equal. But yes, recipes and his experience, I would like definitely find out something more about that. Then next person is Luke Hutchinson. He's actually from northeast of England. He make mead on champagne way. Method traditional, it's called. They do it very good mead. I try. They mostly using heather honey, and that gives very nice flavor and aroma. I tried that mead few times and it's real good. So that's about mead and champagne. Then next person, it's Bartłomiej Jaros. It's I don't know, you probably know Jaros meadery. Yeah, so is brother of Marcin Jaros, and he's responsible on meadery on ceramic. So all bottles, what they do it very nice ceramic bottles up there. They coming from his hands, and he gonna talk about ceramics for meats. So that's interesting too. And that's only one subject which is gonna be in Polish and translate to English on a conference. Rest of it in English. Then next subject is actually me.
Okay.
Which is we're gonna talk. Me and my friends, we're gonna talk about Kings of Mead, modern mead making tool for mead makers and meadery in marketing. So because we opened the website as well, and we try help mead makers to promote their product as well. So pretty much we do it something similar like goat meat, but in Europe, and that's connected with YouTube channel as well. So something like that to actually invite meat makers from Europe to using our website more often than they do it now. It's not only for European meat makers; it's for actually every meat maker. And next subject is very interesting. I use looking forward. It's calling how much can you pull out of the glass, and what about some meats inside? Let's talk about it. It's two Polish guys who already designed special glass for beer tasting. It's very nice design, but also very helpful to get all aromas, colors from beer, and they have idea to design special glass for meat.
Okay.
And they want to ask all meat makers on the conference about what's their opinion of how that glass should look like. What kind of things they should think about to actually, when you pull the meat to the glass, you get everything what you would like see, smell, and taste. So we might be gonna design a special glass for meat soon.
Nice.
That's neat.
That is.
Yeah,
nice.
that's something. And they company called Frela.pl. So if you, Vicky, if you want to look, the beer glass looks very impressive. It's something different than other glass. They got history for how they make that glass. It's real small company, but they put heart and all passion to do it. Actually, glass for alcohol.
That's real. I like that idea.
Yeah, it will be nice, and definitely it's a great idea for them to. No one never done something like that yet, so they can be first one. Then we have other subject, which is meaderies equipment, feeder and amphora for mead fermentation, and that's gonna be Vitali. Sorry for wrong pronunciation, but Vitali Karvaha is from Ukraine.
I know Vitaly.
Yeah, you know, he been a few times on the Master Cup as well. So yeah, he's the one of the person who's gonna speak on a conference as well. Then we got crafting cocktails with meads and connecting meads with other liquors. That's gonna be, well, subject actually explain everything. We got special bar pub in Poland, in Wrocław, called Miodosytnia, and they do it lots of cocktails with mead.
Oh,
so
fun.
yeah, so Paulina gonna show us a few tricks, and she will talk about that, which is quite interesting because it's actually new look for the mead, special for people who are actually not very into, but you can introduce in meads in other way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The next subject is Polish honey varieties and healthy aspect of bee products. So we give people chance to actually taste Polish honey. Katarzyna Tworek and Shubi Michałowski, they're gonna bring every honey what you can get in Poland, every kind of honey. So should be I reckon about 15 varieties to actually taste it.
Nice.
So that should be interesting for other European mead makers. And in the final, we got Alexander Etzkert from Switzerland, and he is head of our European Mead Makers Association. And we're gonna actually talk about future of European Mead Makers Association. What do we want to do it? How we want to do it? What we should do it? What we should do it next? So look forward.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like a really good schedule of people talking and some great subjects.
To be honest, like I said before, I thought we're gonna only start with small meeting, maybe two subjects, and that's it. But then slowly I keep asking people, and they just coming with ideas. And believe me or not, on last 3 subjects I have to say no because we don't have any more time, which is sad.
Next year.
Yeah, next year, definitely next year. I look forward. I already know few mistakes what we made in this time, so we're gonna make next time definitely better. And I'm sure few mistakes on the conference will come out anyway.
Oh yeah.
Which is we expect. Yeah, you know.
That's how you learn.
Yeah, I'm planning the 3rd one for the AMMA, and there's still things that we're learning, and I'm sure there will be for years yet. So, are you gonna have a trade show where you have vendors there with their products?
Trade show?
Will you have equipment providers or honey sellers there to show their wares, to show their products?
No, this time not. We're gonna probably get few alcohol sellers and maybe some restaurants owners. So hopefully, like professional mead makers can push some products to them.
Okay, so potential customers.
Yeah.
Yes, potential customers.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's nice. I really like that. Now, you had said that you were also going to be having competitions. Are those happening during this conference or after it? What's with that?
Well, yes, we got 2 competition. One which is obviously we actually do it. We as a Kings of Mead and European Mead Makers Association. It's the first one, and it's called Mead Madness Cup. It's only for home mead makers. Head of jury is Marcin Jaros, and possible one of the juries gonna be also Michał Saks.
Okay.
I don't know, you remember Michał Saks? Few years ago.
Yeah. I know Marcin better because I've seen him several years at the Mazer Cup. But yeah, those are good people to have as the jury.
Because that's the problem in Europe. We don't have really juries here. It's problem with the professional juries. So yes, Marcin Jaros got huge experience. and our jury is gonna be few professional mead makers, so people who got knowledge about good meads.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, we got problem to actually get juries for competitions.
Sounds like you need more people who've been exposed to the BJCP stuff, like over here.
Yeah.
Yes. I've been asking for that about a year ago, and answer was like, we can put you on the waiting list, and if someone is in Europe, then we can do it. But it will be nice if it's at least 4 people. So it is a little bit problem to do it that.
Yeah, that's true. You sort of have to have a certified mead judge to have the test, so that does make things more difficult. I want to say that there's at least one in Europe, and I'm trying to think, I cannot remember who it was. Somebody that had come to the United States and managed to take their test here. So I'm not sure.
That's what I was thinking, because don't they usually have a testing going on at the conference or on or around the conference?
They always do, yeah. At the Mazer Cup.
Because that would be a great 2-for-1 if somebody from Europe managed to make it out and do the test.
Yeah.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah, the Mazer Cup has a test scheduled for the Thursday of the week of the Mead Con and the Mazer Cup. So, and that's pretty much every year.
I hope, in the next few years that will change.
Yeah.
Because I see already change in Europe about mead make industrial and home mead makers as well. So hopefully next few years it will not get that problem. But at the moment it is a little bit problem to get good juries. But like I said, on the Mead Madness Cup, we got a bunch of good people with good knowledge.
Well, many of the judges for or jurists, as you're calling them, at the Mazer Cup are professional mead makers. They are not certified BJCP judges. They're just very experienced mead makers who, have a business making mead, so they know, like Marcin. So that was how. I mean, there were very few BJCP mead judges when the Mazer Cup started. There might not have been any, but that has only recently become something that you see more of at the Mazer Cup. In just the last 3 to 4 years, there's been more and more, and partly because the Mazer Cup is promoting that. But your home mead makers can still use the BJCP materials, of which there is quite a lot, to learn and become better judges, even if they are not certified. That, being certified does not magically make you a good judge. I know. I've seen a couple that were not good judges that were certified. And so that does not mean, automatically makes you qualified to be a good judge. It just means that you pass the test.
Kind of is a good starting point for the knowledge base.
It is an excellent starting point. Yeah, it is. But I would encourage gatherings of. Do you have brewing or mead clubs?
Yeah, probably it is. Yeah, of course, have to be.
Yeah, you would think so. Yeah, but I mean, that's where a lot of the brewing clubs. We don't have a lot of mead clubs in the United States. Mostly the mead makers are just in general brewing clubs. But what they do is they get together and they study together, and they do pretend mock judgings of they actually judge meads at their group meetings to learn. And a perfect example is the Southern California Mead Alliance is in the southern part of California, obviously, but they have at their meetings they have purchased like the oaking kit from
yeah, I heard that. Yeah. I think it was on the one your program before when you said about that.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, it is. And then there's the off flavors kit. So they're
Mm-hmm.
teaching themselves, and yes, some of them are going on to certify, but I think, in my opinion, because I am not a certified judge and may never end up being, I just never seem to get around to doing it. I'm doing the conference at the Mazer Cup, and that's pretty much the only test in my area where I'm going to be. There isn't one anywhere in North Carolina. The nearest one to me is hours and hours away. So, it's not something that is convenient for me. And since I'm running the conference, I can't exactly leave. I'm going to take a test now. Bye. Don't let anything fall apart.
Well, you could, but yeah.
Well, I could, yeah. I actually have a good team, so I probably could get away with it this year, but I don't feel like I should. It is my ultimate responsibility to see that everything goes well. Anyway, though, I do, however, use those materials to educate myself, and then, and this was something the Mazer Cup has done, well, almost since the beginning, is to take newer mead judges, whether they're certified or not, and pair them with experienced mead judges. Again, whether they're certified or not. I was very fortunate to be paired with Ken Schramm early on in my judging.
Wow.
That was amazing. And I learned so much just in a single 2-day period, more than, I had learned in years of just making my own meads. I learned a great deal about what makes a good mead, because Ken is obviously, of course, very, very experienced and talented at making excellent meads. So, and I've since been paired with people like Andre Abirad, who is the mead maker at Intermeal in Canada, and also world class, one of the best mead makers I know. He's very talented, and he's got an extremely sensitive palate. I've been paired with Pete, which is a little scary. Pete is an amazing judge, but you feel very inadequate sitting next to him because he's so good. I think a lot of that is to get the people who want to judge but don't really know how to judge to, be with those people when they're judging that are more experienced, so that they can learn. I mean, that's most of the judge pool. I would say a good third of the home judging pool group at the Mazer Cup are people who came and they started out being stewards. Then after a year or two, they became judges. They were paired with an experienced judge, and then went on to themselves become an experienced judge, and in a number of cases to become certified mead judges. So, it's easily done. It just takes time and effort.
Yes, I agree, and in back of my head, it is some way, like you just said, to do it in Europe, but it needs time. Definitely need time.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, we didn't do that the first year at the Mazer Cup. It took a couple of years to get the things to get the problems worked out, But yeah, I mean, you're off to a really good start. But I mean, when you get your judges, I'm assuming you'll have. How are you doing the competition? Will there be servers bringing the mead to the judging tables?
Yes, we got some stewards actually. Well, I don't know exactly how many meats gonna be, but at the moment we got 2 stewards, and hopefully they will manage. Because, like I said, we don't know how many meats gonna be, and we don't know how many judge we need as well. But I'm not worried about judge, because I'm sure it's gonna be lots of people who actually from professional mead makers who actually want to join to be a judge on that competition. Cool. So probably end of the conference we can ask, right, we need another 3 judges. Does anyone want to do? And I probably I ask for 2 and I'm gonna get 4 or 5.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's okay too, because it just means you've got more people and more ways to learn. The stewards at the you haven't been to the Mazer Cup yet, have you?
No, I never been. It's one of my dream. I thought I'm gonna do it next year, but unfortunately, no money.
I hear ya.
Yeah, I understand. And the only way I got to go to Australia was because I was fortunate that my husband gave me the airline points so I could fly there, because the flight alone was it was like 2/3 of my budget. So I could not have afforded to do it otherwise. So yeah.
I'm father of 3 young kids,
Oh
so
goodness.
jeez.
Yeah.
they already get my
Yep, there is
Mazer
no
Cup
money
ticket.
left. I only had one, and there was no money left then either. So
I don't have any, and there's no money left. So I think
there
it's
you
just the
go.
way
See?
it goes.
It's just that
There's
there's
no
no
money
money
There you
left.
left.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
hopefully at some point you can come over, but we're gonna at some point, hopefully between now and December, we will be having Pete come on and talk about how to put on a competition, and the lessons that the Mazer Cup has learned and implemented to
yes.
create a good competition. So that is something that's been asked for, and Pete's agreed to do it. I just have to get him to choose a date. So
That would be great. That would be
yeah.
great.
Yeah, so that might
The
be.
organization that goes on behind the scenes is just phenomenal. Like I've been in the pouring room the last 2 years, and the organization to get that thing going like a well-oiled machine, just on the judging day to make sure that the right stuff goes to the right table to the right judge. It's it's a testament to the organizational abilities and the way that they've set things up that it actually works, and it works really well.
Yeah, it is, and it requires good people too, and I mean, and willingness to commit the time. When I was still working with the Mazer, um, we met every month up until like September, and then every 2 weeks, every fortnight, um, after that until the Mazer Cup, putting together the things that needed to happen, ensuring that all of the details were in place, doing any of the changes or updates that needed to happen from things learned the previous year. Because even now, at 10 years old, there are still things that they go, well, that didn't work so well, let's do something different, or this worked really well, let's make that a proper procedure.
Well, also you're growing too, so you're never going to stop with the learning and the
Yeah,
changes.
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it blew up. I mean, gosh, I mean, I think they could have had twice as many entries last year had they had the personnel to manage it. And
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest. I think that's probably one of the biggest things, is having a good group of people that work the thing on the day, that that are there doing the actual work on the actual day, because the Mazer Cup core staff is only 7 or 8 people. They're the ones who do all the planning and everything up to the day, and who are heading up the different areas on the day. But there was, I want to say, about 135 people last year who were
Wow.
doing stewarding and tabulating and just general behind the scenes things that needed to happen in order for this to all work. And that part of that, and this is one of the reasons why every time somebody says, why can't you move it to a new city, it's like, because these people, so many of them are right there in the Denver area, so they come out every year.
Right.
I mean, they do.
Well, that, and also there's a whole lot of stuff that needs to be done not during the whole time when everybody else is there too, which is why you need people like Wayne, who receives everything, and
exactly.
The tabulation team, which up to a few years ago would work half the night putting all the final numbers together. And they've fine-tuned it so it's not quite so bad now. It doesn't take up quite so much time. But I distinctly remember Glenn and Danny, who ran the comp, basically. I mean, the team organized the comp, but Glenn and Danny were running that thing. And they were the ones that made sure that everything that needed to happen happened. And they didn't get much sleep during the 2 days the competition was going on. So, I should get Glenn on the show.
There's just so much to manage.
There really is, yeah. So much to manage. So, one of the things that comes in, I mean, you're starting small, Mate, but you might want to get with Hamish, because he runs the competition that they do in Australia, and theirs only started a few years ago.
Right.
Yeah, so they've got a pretty good system set up from what he said.
Right. Yeah. If you give me email, I would like maybe give
I'd be happy
him booze
to.
or email and
Yeah, I'll connect
any
you.
suggestion from experienced one will be great.
Yeah, it's a big job. Are you managing the competition as well?
No. I didn't. I thought it will be not possible. I do it conference and competition
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
together. So it's Marcin Jaros, which is he responsible for judges, and one of my friends who working with me on Kings of Mead, Krzysztof Jarek. He's running the competition. So yeah, I'm not myself. I left that to them. Of course, I'm gonna help as much as I can, but I concentrate on a Mead Makers conference. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, first I thought that if conference is gonna be only meeting, then it might be fine. But somewhere back of my head, I probably thought it could go bigger. So straight away, I asked my friends, "Do you wanna care about that and look to the competition?" And he said, "Yes, of course." I have to tell him what he need to do, and he was fine with that. So I'm happy. I'm not myself.
Yeah, no, you have to have more than one person. I learned that the first year doing the Mead Con. I did it all entirely by myself, and I really should not have. It was very stressful.
I'm expect stress, and I expect not much sleep. And I think after that weekend, I'm gonna come back to England and get rest.
Yeah.
That's what I think will happen. But back to our competition, Mead Madness Cup. We got 4 categories only. We start from small, which is M1, M2, M3, and M4, which is traditional mead, mellow males, metagreen, and other meats really. Included session in M4 category. We give medals for every category, and we got beautiful prize for the grand champion, which is going to be the best mead of competition.
Oh, what sort of prize are you going to be giving? Watch, the Americans all come out for this.
Nah. It's just the special design cup for that. Actually,
Nice.
bottle, which is done by Jaros.
Nice.
So it's only one. No one else actually can get it from somewhere, and I saw that yesterday, and it looks real beautiful.
Nice.
I would like put my home meat for that competition, but I think that would be very unprofessional to give my meat.
Wow, I wouldn't mind a custom Yaros bottle.
Yeah.
That is. I like their regular bottles are really nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got that prize, and we already get few entries, so I look forward for. To be honest, if we get about 40, 50 meets on the first, I think that's going to be a huge success for the first competition.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you get 40, 50 meads for the first competition, I think that's amazing, especially considering that, as you said earlier, that the organization of the European mead environment is not as far along as the United States is now. I think that's stunning.
Well, definitely it's hard like we do it in Poland. Mead in Poland is quite big, so
Yes.
that's definitely helped to grow. And then is another competition, which is to be honest, is quite independent from European Mead Makers Association and us, which is called Craft Roku, and is only for professional meaderies.
Okay.
Craft Roku, it's connected with Polish Beer Festival, which is for last 2 years turned to the Polish Beer, Mead and Cider Festival. And it's probably the biggest competition in Eastern Europe. Last year we have 540 or 550 craft drinks. That included beer, mead, and ciders, which is mostly was beer. And but I'm quite happy. Like beer people are open now for mead as well. That give actually big opportunity to mead makers. And unfortunately, they got one category and one prize for mead, but they got 4 subcategories, which is traditional mead, melomels, metaglin, and other meads, which can be anything from experimental to actually anything. They got separate category for braggot as well, but I think because they trade braggot more like beer than the mead.
Okay. And how many entries are you expecting or hoping for?
Only for mead this year, or generally?
Well, for mead at the professional competition.
Mead category is for last 2 years, and it's growing. Last year, I've been involved to that because actually the people who are or do it the Craft Roku, they asked me to help, and actually I helped promote a little bit that competition in the Mead Makers, and was about 6 meads only last year, but this year already is 10 entries. So. And it's still open, so I think it's gonna be much bigger this year. Because this year, actually, I helped them since they start. So also subcategories been much more sense for mead makers than last year. Last year, for example, they put melomels and metaglins as a one mead with ads, which is I ask them to change that. But unfortunately, they was quite strict. They want to keep because already been announced, and well, which is fair enough. But this year looks much better organized, and I think we will get few good meets up there. And like I said, it's the biggest competition in Eastern Europe, so it's definitely nice to get medal from them as well.
Yeah.
And they quite open. They said to me this year, if we get lots of meat this year, they quite often turn subcategories to the categories next year. So I really try push it to that.
That's really
that'll be really cool if they get lots.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. I love that the first one is in Poland, and I don't know if all the subsequent events will also be in Poland, but I'm always telling people when they ask me about the history of mead that while mead has been seen in nearly every culture on earth, Poland has the only continuous mead culture. Every place else, mead fell out of public view and then came back, but not in Poland.
I think it's also Ethiopia and Eritrea when they keep going.
Yeah,
but I think that.
Taj's been there all the time, but mead in its more I don't know, I guess traditional setting.
Yeah. If you look that way, yes, definitely.
Yeah. But I've always found that to be really interesting because you're pretty much the only country outside Ethiopia on the planet that hasn't forgotten mead and then had to go bring it back.
But Vicky, you will be surprised how many people in Poland actually don't have knowledge about mead, and you can meet people in Poland ask them what's the mead, and they're gonna tell you it's that the honey mixed with water without fermentation. Yeah, it's like so. It is still lots of to educate people and show
I think
that
that's the same everywhere, eh?
yeah, it's everywhere. Yeah, exactly everywhere, and show people good meats, because that's other problem. If someone try bad meat first time, unfortunately, I don't think so. He's gonna come back to meat in next few years, and
Yeah.
we lost that person who actually could love it meat, because we know if you try good meat, you will stick on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is something that they're working on in the States as well. In Canada, we're still working on what is mead, and how do we get the government to let us make it and sell it?
Yeah.
But you see, in Poland, it's problem with that. We got like strict from the government what meat is in Poland, but it's also bad for meaderies, because in Poland, you probably know, we got czwórniak, trójniak, dwójniak, and półtorak.
Yeah.
And for our government, that's it. So it's no different way to do it mead. If you want to do it mead with lower alcohol, which is, let's say, 5% or even less than 9%, that's not mead. And that's make problem for meaderies to actually experiment or do it something with what let's call that new wave of meads. It has to be czwórniak, trójniak, dwójniak, or półtorak. Nothing else is not mead, and that is problem. That is problem. It's good because it's cover our tradition,
right?
From one point, but from other point, we can grow way how we could.
Yeah, it really does stifle your growth when they won't let you experiment.
Yeah, I can see where that would be a problem. So if you want to use peppers or tea or what have you, can they sell it, or are they just not allowed to call it mead?
With ingredients it's fine. It's all about that amount of honey.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the
and
honey to
stage
water
of
ratio.
alcohol.
Right.
So if you do it any mead under 9%, you can call that miód pitny, which is mead in Poland. You have to find different name, and then meaderies play with names. They call in English mead, or they call fermented honey and water with mango, whatever. So, but for Polish customer, it's quite confusing.
We have some of the same difficulties here in the United States because our government authority over alcoholic beverages, the TTB, can't quite decide what mead is. And so some meaderies can call theirs mead, and other meaderies will be denied the ability to call it mead, even though other meaderies have already been given the okay to call it mead.
Yeah.
So it's very confusing because they're not. We're the phrase in the United States is redheaded stepchildren, meaning they don't really know what to do with us. We don't fit into their definition of alcoholic beverages because they want us to be a wine, and yet, I mean, while yes, there are many similarities, there are also many differences, and they have difficulty with that.
Well, I think if any government, I don't know how you said, rules, it's no good if they go too deep to the anything. If they gonna tell you that's meat and that's not meat, that's definitely will be no good. So any regulation finally will probably make more difficult than actually no regulations at all. Does that make sense? Sorry.
Yes, it does.
And I understand why they want to regulate it, but I mean, we also run into silly things like here. If I want to open a meadery in Canada, I have to be producing my own honey in order to do it, and they've set the minimum at 100 hives. So
Whoa.
there's no way of starting small. And if I want to start as a winery instead, wineries may also make mead and they don't have to use their own honey. But if you're going to register as a winery, you have to have 5 acres minimum of fruit and crops, which is also not starting small.
That's bad as well. Aye.
Yeah, which is why there's like 5 meaderies in my province. You know, and they're all associated with really big apiaries, or they're a winery on a farm somewhere. So, you know, everybody's got their own challenges. It's just a matter of figuring out what they are and figuring out how to work around them.
Yeah, true. For example, in Poland, if you want to open meadery, you have to pay tax advance.
Oh, wow.
And you have to calculate how much you probably will sell.
Oh, God.
So straight away, before you make money, instead you buy equipment, you invest for promotion or whatever, you still have to pay tax. So that's why it's not many new meaderies in Poland.
Wow, wow. I don't even know how to respond to that. You have to figure out before you open how much you're going to make so that you can pay taxes on it before you make it. Is that right?
Yeah, more or less it's worked right that way. Of course, you can make some mistakes, but then you have to pay them back. So it is very complicated. I'm not probably the best person who talk about the rules, but soon it's gonna be on our channel on YouTube. Interview and visit in Imbirowicz Meadery. He's the one of the newest in Poland. And when I asked him question, is the opening meadery in Poland easy? He said no.
Yeah.
Wow.
And my next question was like, obviously this wasn't my next question, but his answer was if he knew it, how much he have to do and how much formal things is to do, he will never start. But because he done the first step, he have to do it second step, and was no way to turn back really, because he already made some investment, he already started build things to do with the meadery, so finally he's done it.
Wow.
But that's how hard it is.
Wow, yeah, that's difficult.
And that's the Poland when you think meat is big thing, but it need to be some changes up there as well if we want to still grow up.
Well, maybe that's what your association can start focusing on once you get enough members and traction, eh?
Yeah.
Every country got some own problems.
Yeah.
In Great Britain, it's that they have no rules about what mead is. And that's one of the things I've seen the British mead makers complaining about, is that anybody can make something and call it mead, and it doesn't have to actually be mead. It can be white wine with honey added to it.
Which I have seen labeled as mead and actually drank.
Yeah, me too. And while it's not terrible, it's also not mead. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can get very terrible as well, which is
I've also heard that there's a quality problem.
That's the thing what I talked before. You know, the mead what you can actually easy get, it's usually bad mead, and if that's gonna be your first mead what you try, you're never gonna come back, or you're gonna come back in the next few years to try again, and hopefully next time you're gonna try good mead.
Yeah, we have that problem here too. People try one, and if it's not a good one, then they say all mead must be bad, which is so strange because they don't do that with wine. They go try a different kind of wine. Or beer, yeah. They go try a different kind. They don't say all beer is bad or all wine is bad, but for some reason they think that mead is like that. And that's an educational thing that needs to be, fixed.
Yeah, that's right. I never thought that way, but you get absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, if I go drink an IPA and it's all kinds of hops and it's really yucky to me and I don't like it, I don't go, oh, beer sucks. I go, what other kinds of beer do you have? Because I don't like this one. I don't write off a whole beverage because, if I have a mixed drink, if I have a cocktail that I don't like, I don't say all cocktails are bad. I say, I don't like this one. I want a different one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, true. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
sometimes you just have to link it to other drinks like beer and wine, I guess.
Well, it's partly that and partly a lack of education on the part of the potential mead consumer, thinking that
Mm-hmm.
mead is mead is mead, that there's only one thing. It's honey, water, and yeast, and that's all there is. They don't realize that literally,
So much more.
right, outside of Poland, that is, it can have almost anything in it, and at least officially. And, so here and, and pretty much everywhere I've been, you get mead with the strangest things in it, that are often quite good that you would never think would be necessarily. I saw a post earlier today, and this one I don't at least think for me it will be good. For pepperheads, they're going to love it. Pepperheads being people who are inordinately fond of chili peppers. So
blowing their faces off with really, really hot food.
Yeah. And this meadery, and I want to say it's Ancient Fire. I'm pretty sure it's Ancient Fire up in the northeast of the United States. And they're making a mead with the 4 hottest peppers on the planet together.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, okie dokie then. Yeah, I might taste that one, but I'm gonna withhold my judgment until
Why you do it yourself, then?
It's
Yeah.
not my thing. I like chili pepper meads. I am absolutely in love with things like chipotle pineapple and
Chipotle raspberry. I've had that
Chipotle
twice, and it is
anything,
to
pretty
die
much.
for. Oh, my God.
Yeah, chipotle anything. Chipotle with any kind of fruit is almost always amazing. But chipotle mango is really good. Try that one sometime.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, and but I like that. But that's about the extent of my ability to deal with chili peppers. I don't like super hot things. It just doesn't work for me. It makes me feel ill. So, and nothing wrong with the people who want to make them. And I know that some people who have had some of these other meads say they're amazing, and that's great. I'm glad they're amazing, but they're not for me. But yeah, that's it'll be interesting to see what happens when the ingredient craziness hits Europe in a big way. When,
Yeah.
when you all start getting really creative, the way things have gotten over here. Here, you can't even imagine some of the stuff they're putting in mead now.
I think, to be honest, because using the Polish example, craft beer in Poland is quite big. I think that's the opportunity, because the breweries are more happy to experiment. I find out meaderies are more conservative, and they do it traditional. They do it mellow, but nothing extremely, because I think customers expect from the mead that taste. But breweries are quite open to experiment, and that is opportunity. And the breweries slowly start experiment with the braggots, and hopefully we will see some mead soon. I know Martin Sachs, not soon, but he got some ideas to do with meads as well.
Nice. Well, I'll have to bring some braggots over with me when I come over next year, if everything works out.
Hopefully, finger crossed.
Yeah, if I can make it happen, I'll bring as much meat as I can afford to carry with me that they'll let me bring in. So I took a case with me to Australia, so we'll see what happens when I fly into Europe.
Well, you're going to go home with a case, so why not?
I came home with 2 cases from Australia. It cost me it was $175 US to check my luggage, because I went there with 2 bags and came back with 4. No, I went there with I went there with 2 bags. I went with a suitcase or a duffel bag and a box of mead, and came back with 2 boxes of mead. The duffel bag I went with, and an old suitcase that Hamish had that I stuffed all the presents I bought for my family in.
Well,
Yeah,
mead,
I got a lot of funny looks when I was in the luggage line in the International Lounge in Los Angeles. Like where are the other 4 people in your group? Because that's a lot of luggage for one person. So yeah.
It's for business.
Yeah, it was work related. Yeah. So yeah,
But there's always good promotion for me as well on the airport, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, people ask, like, what'd you do? I said, well,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
I tell them, and then they go, what's mead? And then I have to explain it, and so yeah, every person you talk to is another potential mead drinker and mead lover. So that's, it's pretty cool.
Well,
Yes.
it turns out my last trip on my trip home, I was sitting next to a beekeeper's wife.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Did they made mead or they just do it honey?
No, they didn't, and actually, she was watching the in-flight movie the whole time, so we ended up only really chatting for the landing. But I told her about mead, and I need to make some business cards so I can hand them out to people.
Yeah. Say it's not meat. Yes, they're all different. No, just because you had a bad one doesn't mean they're all bad. That's on the back.
Well, actually, I always wear my Mazer Cup or Got Mead T-shirts when I'm flying, just so that I can say, "Look, T-shirt. See, this is where I'm going to."
Yeah.
It's walking advertisement.
It is.
Yeah, walking advertisement. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Are you doing T-shirts for this?
No, we thought about that, but to be honest, our budget is very low. To be honest, Kings of Mead, it's all from the passion. So we don't have any. We don't make money. We spend our own money for doing that. Like we pay for our website, we pay for the prices. So, our European Mead Makers Association help us with, and they give us some funding for some food on the conference. So that's very helpful. But the rest actually coming from our own pocket.
So Kings of Mead is who is putting on the competitions, yeah?
Kings of Mead is like a YouTube channel and a website about mead, really. So it's me and 2 other guys who share the passion for meads, and like it starts from the YouTube channel.
Okay.
And then we opened the website. We changed the website now a little bit to be more open for people to actually get some conversation up there, not only professionals, home mead makers as well. So, but like I said, we do it just from passion.
Yeah. Well, believe me, I understand that. 20 plus years of running Got Mead just because I love it.
It's like. When we get the idea to do a European Mead Makers conference, we never thought it's gonna be so big. And when I'm doing something, I want to do it always perfect. And if we do it well, we done the first step, we have to do it second, and there's no way to turn back. So we do it well, or we actually can't stop anymore now. So.
No. Yeah, you're stuck with it now. It's going to be with you for a while.
It's got a life of its own now.
Yeah. I went from doing Got Mead to being one of the group of people that founded the Mazer Cup to working with the AMMA and still, running Got Mead through all of that. And so yeah, it takes over your life after a while, but it's okay because I'm doing what I love. I finally got to put my passion into a job. It's cool. So yeah. How big is the EMMA now? I mean, are they all over Europe, or is it mostly Poland?
No. Actually, it's haven't started in Poland. It's started in the Switzerland, and been started by Alexander Eckert. And Vitaly.
Yeah, I know.
It is just happened last year, to be honest. exactly. Alexander sent me a message. 17th of July 2017. That's when the European Mead Makers Association been formed.
Okay.
So it's pretty young baby. They already have one meeting in France, and I think after that conference it will start work better, because we don't even have signed up form.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
it's just at the moment. If you're in Europe, you actually can join to the European Mead Makers Association. So it's lots of job to do, but also lots of opportunities. So I think after that conference, few things will change, and definitely we need signed form, and maybe some fees as well to join,
Yeah.
to actually have some fundings for even for do it conference in the future. So
Yeah.
it's
That,
really young baby.
yeah.
Like
Well,
if you
it takes
if
time.
you come yeah, if you come to a European Mead Makers conference this year, you will feel like you get get back to the time in the USA for about 10 years or maybe even more than that.
Well, the AMMA is only, I think, 6 years old. So,
Yeah.
we're not that, I mean, as an organization, we're not that old. But yeah, I mean, the conference, we set the conference up to basically it pays for itself. So the fees to attend the conference pay for the conference.
Right. That's the thing what I already know for next year, because this time conference is for free.
Yeah.
Everyone can attend it. We even haven't set you have to register to attend it, and that was a mistake. Because I never thought it's gonna be so popular. So I think next year we probably will think about some fees if you want to attend it.
Yeah.
So at least we get some budget, not to make money, but to actually run the conference. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say the AMMA conference isn't like some really large influx of money that, the AMMA now has lots and lots of money. It pretty much pays for itself, and sometimes there's a little left over, but not often. I
Mm.
mean, we're interested in putting on an event that will bring mead makers together, both home and professional, that will allow them to get together and talk, that will allow them to hear interesting speakers and learn new things. And, I mean, that's what it's there for. That's why we
and
exist, is to educate about mead.
and that's give you a chance to actually do it better every year as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we probably will think next year as well. We're quite happy we get the conference room for free from Craft Roku, the competition for professionals. But pretty much that's it. Rest it's come from our own money and our own pocket. But like I said, it's the first one, so we learn
Yeah.
on the mistakes. It's like
Yep.
when you make meat, you have to make few mistakes to make
Oh
good
yeah.
meat. Yeah.
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 Yeah. You have to make a lot of mistakes to make good mead. Well, this is really exciting. I just wish I was able to come out there this year, because I think it's just awesome that you're doing this.
Thanks. I hope so. Will work as well like it sounds.
It will. It will. I mean, there might be one or two things that don't go the way you want them to, but overall, I would reckon that it will be a happy thing. People will enjoy it, and they'll want more. And that's the goal of
that,
the thing.
that's the main thing. If we meet together, we can share our experience and passion. Professional can exchange experience, maybe some contacts. How mead makers can meet with the professionals, and it's just about meat. And like I said before, the first idea was do it just meeting, and then just everything turned into a big conference. So it will be nice time, and I'm sure it's gonna be great for everyone.
Yeah, it can't it can't not. I mean, it's going to be great, even if everything doesn't work out, and something will go sideways. Something always goes wrong.
Yeah, something has to go wrong.
Something
Something
has
has
to
to go wrong.
Yeah. It wouldn't be an event
I
if something
expect that.
didn't go wrong.
I think every big thing I ever do, I expect at least 3 things to go wrong, so I'm pleasantly surprised when only 2 do.
Yeah.
To be honest, I hope so. Like some one of the people who actually get speech will not turn in because we're very short of the time of the.
Yeah.
So if that's something go wrong, I wouldn't mind. But then it's all subjects so interesting, and I'm so into. Then I hope it will not happen anyway. So.
Yeah.
But it's all about mead and all to have good fun and good time. So the meeting after conference in the restaurant, it will be great because everyone gonna be quite relaxing. We can talk to each other and share experience about the conference as well, and finally taste the mead. So I'm looking forward to that one as well.
Yeah, it sounds like it. How many different countries do you think are going to be represented at this conference? Have you got an idea?
Well, we definitely got Lithuania, Ukraine, Czech, Switzerland, Sweden, Denmark, England, Spain. So that's 8, and Poland, that's 9. That's all what I know, but I'm not sure. It might be someone else coming from France, and it might be someone come from Norway. That's another mistake what we made. We didn't force people to actually register if they come to conference. We all just open even on Facebook, and people just can click if they coming or they interesting. But that doesn't work well because some people don't have Facebook. Some big meaderies doesn't really interesting to click, but I know they come in. Someone click, but they come in with 2 or 3 people up there and all that things. So.
And then there's always the people that say they're going when they never go to anything.
Yeah.
You have to expect that one as well. So yeah, but yes, I think should be about 8 or 9 countries represented on that conference. So I'm happy on that.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Especially, it's, I mean, here it's different states, but the rules for mead making are like nationwide, and there each country has its own rules, so that's a whole different thing, and a whole, so and different, wildly different cultures as well. Whereas here we have different accents, but for the most part the culture is fairly similar from state to state. But so there's a lot of different viewpoints, different approaches, different thoughts all coming together, and that I think is amazing.
Yeah, I agree. It will be great. Like they share experience and problems as well.
Yeah.
Because like we talked before, every country got different problems. So someone might be fine that my problem is not really big like in this country.
Yeah, that's very true. Different rules in different places. I'll have to get you the list of what I have for European meaderies, and you can reach out to them and see if they want to attend.
Yeah, I will appreciate it. I already look on got meet on some contacts up there, but yeah, if you can send me like in one email, I would appreciate.
Yeah, I've
Great.
got a spreadsheet. I can create a Europe only spreadsheet for you, and I'll shoot it over.
Great. Sounds. It's interesting. Like on that very big interest on that conference, it's from beekeepers in Poland, like Polish beekeepers. So I think they already see opportunity to open meaderies or sell meat as one of the product, because I know quite big group of beekeepers coming to the conference. The people who just start doing meat, or they haven't even started making the meat, but they want to find out maybe not how to make, but how it is, the rules about meat in Poland. So.
Well, and then ways to market their honey differently to who to sell it to, and how, and what sorts of packaging that mead makers like, because obviously we don't buy the small containers, we buy the large ones, and and that sort of thing. That's really
That's right.
Yeah, and you should connect with the Apamondia people.
Who's them?
Apamondia is the World Beekeeping and Honey
Right.
Conference,
Okay.
and it moves around the world. It was actually I think it was in the Czech Republic. It's every other year, so every second year they have it, and it moves around. It was the first year I wanted to go. It was in Buenos Aires, and then this past one, I believe, was in the Czech Republic. So it's in a different country every time they hold it. So it's really.
I think the next one's Montreal or
I
something.
believe the next one is Montreal. Yeah, because we talked about, maybe getting together.
Maybe doing something.
Yeah, that we might do something. I don't know, but and it goes. I believe it's in September. It's early in the fall, and
very soon.
Yeah, very soon. Yeah, if not already. Well, I don't think they.
Right.
Year, yeah. I think this is this is a not year. Next year is the one.
Next year,
one.
yeah.
But yeah,
so really
they're good. If you're seeing interest from beekeepers, I would suggest getting together with them, because they actually even have a mead competition now. They didn't used to. But
yes, that's right.
Yeah, and so they're doing some really interesting things, and it's definitely an organization to stay in touch with. Stay connected with, as regards honey in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you don't mind, because you get few information, what you have to send me to email.
Yeah.
Could you add them up?
Yeah, I'll add that. Yeah. Well, you need to send me a photo so I can do the show page for this. So.
The problem is I don't have very good photos, but I will take
neither
some.
Do I. That's all right. We love you anyway. But yeah, I can definitely get you some information. So
Great.
But I'm excited about this. I think this is really great, and I'm really excited to see what Mead's gonna continue to do, in the European arena.
Yeah, I hope if we get chat next year, maybe it will be much bigger, and we see the European Mead Makers Association growing, and conference maybe gonna be not 1 or 2 days this time, because what I saw already, it's massive interest from people who not quite into the mead, but they would find out how to make mead. So it is opportunity to do it some kind of lessons as well, because this conference been done for more like people who are professional or been in the mead making for about a few years.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely have to think to people who actually just started, like them beekeepers, or people who are very into craft beer, but they would go next step, which is mead.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be really great if you had a day of learning, how to make better meads and that, or a second day of talks where they were teaching, mead techniques. And we have.
And you can start Well, you can start with the basic techniques if you've never made mead before, and then you can move on to the more, different classes with more advanced techniques as you've got more experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great.
More things on your plate.
He's already getting tired. And it's
I
not
know.
next year
No,
yet.
I can talk a lot. It's just get all that idea to the one place and actually start work on them. It's a long way, so
Oh yeah.
I keep them all in a one folder in my computer. They might be never actually gonna happen, but they are there.
Oh yeah. Well, we have an idea. I have an idea folder too, and that's all of the things that get proposed for our conference. And yeah, it's not. Some of it'll never happen. Some of it's gonna happen, and some of it's already some of it's already being planned. So it takes time. It just one step, 1 year at a time. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, exactly. I think the most great thing is you got ideas.
Yeah.
Even if some of them never happen, you got them.
Yeah.
And you try work on them.
Yeah, I agree. Well, wow, I'm excited for this. Now I'm really going to start saving my money to come next year for sure.
Yeah, like I said, I do it everything that will happen next year. Because, well, it's all about how people will, what's gonna be feedback after that conference.
Yeah.
But finger crossed, everyone will happy, and we can do it next year better and better.
Yep. And that's what you do is just each year, make it a little bit bigger, a little bit better,
and then you find out you need more people.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I did the first two pretty much on my own, and this year I've got, not including my volunteers at the conference, which we'll have quite a few. We had 20 or 30 last year. But I've got 4 other people that are handling various aspects of the conference to ensure that everything gets done, because I discovered that there wasn't enough time to do everything that needed doing, and I didn't get it all done. So we needed a team. But that's really, I mean, once this first one happens, you'll have people saying, I want to help. And
That's true. Yeah.
yeah, and that's where they come from. That's where you get those people, is that they want to help. Let them, sit down and have a meeting and decide what needs doing and who's going to do it, and then do it.
It's quite funny, like, to be honest, because I'm kind of follow your steps. Never thought about that way, but we start from the website, YouTube channel, and now we all do it conference in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like pretty much like you start from the God Mead.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, and I didn't get my YouTube channel until, I don't know, about 1.5 years ago. I'm fortunate that a friend of mine that lives in the Netherlands he manages it for me. So, Yannick Goosens, he manages the channel for me. So he's been fabulous. He stepped up. Basically, he called me and he's like, I want to help. And I was like, great, thank you. Because I didn't have enough time to do them both.
People want to help it. That's a great thing. We got, for example, a guy from Brazil who find my channel on YouTube, and he writes to me. He want to translate. So we got already 1 or 2 episodes which has been translated first in English subtitles. He translates to the Portuguese or
Nice.
Brazilian word. So yeah. So. And he come from nowhere. Like, yeah, he come from Brazil, but yeah, he come to me by self, which is great. And that's so great with mead people, mead community. They're so happy to help and do it everything
we're a
just for mead.
We're a well formed community, and we like to work together. I think that's a lot of it.
Yeah, I agree. And hopefully that never will change.
Yeah, I agree. I hope it never does too. It's one of the phrases I hear a lot here in the United States, both professionally and with the home mead makers, is an old saying that says a rising tide floats all boats, meaning that if we work together, we all improve. You know, we all benefit.
Yes, absolutely right. Yeah. I said that many times to Polish mead makers. We on the stage when actually we not rivals. I'm not professional, but you not rivals. Anything for what's good for mead is good for everyone.
Yep.
At the moment. Maybe in next few years, that will change. But at the moment, that's how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's I think that, eventually it'll get to that point, but for now, we're the little fish, we're the little people compared to craft brewing, and I don't know if cider is popular across Europe, but here it's wildly popular, and so we're very small compared to those two groups, very small, and of course wine has always been out there,
So. The market is so big; it's still space for everyone to use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think the craft beers are at each other's throats yet. It's just, the big
not.
ones that are wondering about the small ones. So I think we're sort of around where craft beer was, 15 or 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, possible, yeah.
Yeah, that's about where we're at here. So, yeah, I mean, there's so much more we can do. And, that goes too for, Americans, Canadians, Central and South America, Europe. We can all help each other. So, we're all mead makers.
Let's keep together.
Yeah, we're all mead makers together. It's all the same. I mean, the languages may be different. Some of the techniques may be different, but it's still mead.
And we can all learn from each other.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
I think that should be the final speech for the show.
Yeah, that's a good closing line, isn't it?
That was good closing. Yeah.
Okay, then that's what we'll do. All right, then.
All right.
Mate, thank you. I mean, that's great.
It's really nice having you.
Yeah, it's really nice getting you on the show and hearing more about what you guys are up to over there. So I'm excited. This is going to be great.
Maybe you would like invite me after the conference, and I can actually say what's actually happened. It was disaster, or
yeah, I'd love to do
that.
Yeah.
A follow up.
How it went, and who came, and yeah, definitely. I think that's a wonderful idea.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna back to that subject. And if you don't mind, I would like to remind people kingsofmead.com. There is more information about conference and also about the Mead Madness Cup if someone would like send mead. It's probably one of the home mead competition which is no fee for entry.
Okay.
So it's totally free. You just have to send the mead and give our judges to send you feedback, and you might get medals.
Okay. Great.
Great.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah, it was. So, everybody, that's November 8th and 9th, right?
Yes,
yeah,
that's
November
right.
8th and 9th, Poznan, Poland. That is the first European Mead Conference. And just go to kingsofmead.com to check it out.
If you go there, just don't be confused. If you click, it is in Polish, but you will find on the bottom of the page in English as well. So.
Good. That's really good because I was going to go there and get some information off of it. So yeah. and as I say, my Polish is terrible. So.
I get one feedback. Oh, I've been on your website. I want to find out about Mead Madness competition, and it's all in Polish. And then I have to text that guy back like, you have to just go to the bottom, and it's on the same page, but it's English there as well.
Just keep scrolling.
Yeah, I keep going down. Right, thank you very much, and I hope so. You will host me again after conference.
Yeah.
I hope so. I'm gonna be so happy like I'm now. I will be not put down like I was totally bad.
Yeah, don't torture yourself. Yes, there will be problems, and yes, it will be amazing. Trust me.
At least I'm gonna get a chance to try good meads up there. I will
There you
happy.
go. Yeah.
Oh, nothing else that's worth a lot.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I go to bed. It's nearly 9 p.m. and I
Yeah.
wake up early. Like I said, I got 3 kids, so
Yeah.
no excuses in the morning.
No, not at
Okay.
all. Can't roll over and go back to sleep. All right, Mate. We will talk with you again after the conference happens and your competitions happen and see what happened.
Right. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right. Goodbye.
Thanks for coming on the
Bye.
show. Bye.
Bye.
So cool.
Well, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'm on my own this week. John's in Boston, and so the puppies hear me say BYE, and they think, "Oh, good, we can start barking."
Mm-hmm.
So they're all running around and whining right now. But okay, guys, upcoming events. October 14th, Boss Meadery in Wisconsin has their science and mead tasting at the Wisconsin Science Festival. I think it's so cool. Science, mead, that goes together. Totally.
Science!
October 27th, the Texas Mead Association will be having the Texas Mead Fest. Some really awesome mead in Texas. If you can get down there, I recommend it. These will all be linked on the show page. October 27th, Brimminghorn Meadery has their Fight Like a Valkyrie breast cancer benefit. I mistakenly said Viking last week and realized it when I saw a repost of their announcement. I was like, oops. So yeah, Fight Like a Valkyrie breast cancer benefit, October 27th, Brimminghorn Meadery in Delaware.
Cool.
And November 17th, because this is you have to sign up for a limited thing, Boss Meadery is having a progressive dinner. And I think it's progressive not as, and this is progress, but progressive in that it's like a rolling meal or something. I don't know. But
Okay.
yeah. But it sounds really interesting, and multi-courses, all that kind of fun stuff. So I think it'll be really good.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you've got an event that you'd like us to mention on Got Mead Live, send us an email at gotmeadlive@gotmead.com. Let us know. We'll put it on the show for you.
Don't make us chase you down.
Exactly what she said.
It's free advertising.
That's right.
You
It's
should
free
come to us.
advertising. You should come to us. That's right. Free advertising. And speaking of advertising, just a little blurb for the Mazer Cup and the Mead Con. Hotel reservations are now open, and you can go to meadcon.net/venue to get your reservations and those discounted rates now for both the Mazer Cup and the Mead Con. I don't have the link handy, so just go there and click on the link. And tickets for the Mead Con will be going on sale this week. Yay!
Wow.
So, finally. So, keep your eyes open. I'll be announcing it on all the social media and spreading it around and annoying the crap out of people. So, it's funny. I get my friends are like, well, I know when you're posting because it goes up in like 6 groups. Vic, really? Seriously?
What?
But
What?
yeah. And next week we have Michael Jordan, and he's going to be talking about his medicinal meads, not necessarily medicinal in taste, but medicinal as in what they do, because he uses cannabis in his meads. He's in Wyoming. So that should be an interesting conversation. Carvin could not make it tonight, obviously, because he has family things going on that were last minute, came up, couldn't be avoided. It's what it is. He's promised he's going to come back. He'll make it up to us. So, and Carvin is, if nothing else, a man of his word. That much you can utterly depend on him. So he will be back, and most likely sometime in the next month. So as soon as we know, you'll know, and we'll let you know.
All right,
Yeah, exactly. So that's all I got.
I got nothing.
All right, then. We'll see y'all next week, and enjoy. And, in the meantime, drink more mead. Have a good one.
And right. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.